Josh Allen is easily one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's gutsy, talented, sacrificial, and most of all, he's a winner. But Allen wasn't always viewed in this light. Coming out of the draft, he was seen as a very boom or bust prospect out of Wyoming, and many Buffalo fans were even disappointed by his selection with the 7th overall pick in 2018. Well, now that we have seen number 17 play since he entered the league, pretty sure those fans aren't complaining anymore. But when did it happen? When did that boom or bust prospect take the leap? Let's remind ourselves of the game that made Josh Allen a superstar. In Josh Allen's first season as a pro, his play on the field was certainly rough around the edges, and Buffalo went 5-6 with Allen leading the offense. In the second year, despite statistically underwhelming, he did lead the Buffaloes to a 10-6 record and a playoff berth where they ultimately fell just short against the Houston Texans. The jury was still out on Allen going into his third season, but along with the help of a newly acquired Stephon Diggs, he took a major leap forward in 2020, putting together a 13-3 campaign and throwing for 4,500 yards and 37 touchdowns. The Bills saw even more success in the playoffs in 2020, winning games in both the wild card and divisional rounds against the Colts and Ravens before bowing out against the eventual Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, in the AFC Championship. Going into a critical 2021 campaign for the Bills, Allen had disproven anyone who had ever doubted that he would be successful in the NFL. Statistically, he was among the league's best quarterbacks. He was viewed as such by the general public, and although he didn't know it yet, he still hadn't played the game that would permanently cement him as an all-time player in the NFL landscape. Things didn't come quite as easily to the 2021 Buffalo Bills as they did the year prior. A 4-1 start solidified them as one of the best teams in the NFL, but after a deflating loss on Monday Night Football against Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans, Allen and the Bills entered a mid-season slump. From Week 6 to Week 13, the Bills went 3-5, which coincided with the string of careless turnovers from Josh Allen, who had 11 combined interceptions and fumbles lost over that 8-week span. Sitting at 7-6, the Bills faced a crossroads entering the last 4 weeks of the season. Fortunately for them, the final stretch of their schedule featured very easy opponents, and Allen was able to secure 4 straight victories and gain some confidence back to conclude regular season play. Allen's stats regressed slightly from his shocking 2020 season, throwing for 4,400 yards and 36 touchdowns with a few more turnovers, but he still remained in the upper echelon of NFL quarterbacks that year. Buffalo's 11-6 record was good enough to lock in the 3 seed and earn them an easy wildcard matchup against the Mac Jones-led Patriots, who outperformed expectations but were simply outclassed by a juggernaut Bills squad. Allen threw 5 touchdowns and over 300 yards on the day, easily snatching a 47-17 playoff victory. With the first-seeded Titans earning the bye and set to face off against the second-year Joe Burrow's Bengals team, the Bills now matched up against Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. This is the game that made Josh Allen a superstar. Mahomes and Allen were both regarded as 2 of the best young quarterbacks in football, but Allen had much more to prove considering Mahomes already got his ring. This rematch of young stars became one of the most highly anticipated playoff games in recent memory, with many comparing it to a young Tom Brady and Peyton Manning dueling it out in the AFC playoffs each year. What no one knew, though, is that it would go down as one of the greatest games in NFL history. The Bills received the opening kickoff and methodically marched down the field, with Allen keeping it himself on a 4th and 2 at midfield to extend the drive. Quickly, Buffalo found themselves on the brink of first blood, just 1 yard shy of the goal line. A few Chiefs stops orchestrated by Chris Jones put the Bills in another 4th down scenario, and although most teams would kick a field goal here, that's simply not how you beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Sean McDermott's decision to keep the offense on the field paid off, and Devin Singletary waltzed into the left corner of the end zone to open the scoring. The Bills walked into Arrowhead, one of the toughest environments to play in January, and had their way with the Chiefs' defense, immediately setting the tone. Of course, Mahomes had something to say about that and opted to take matters into his own hands by diving to the pylon to cap off an equally impressive first possession by the Chiefs. A series of several punts followed, but it was Kansas City who was first able to capitalize, leading a 12-play, 86-yard touchdown drive to take a 14-7 lead and milk most of the remaining clock in the first half. But when the Bills received the ball with just a minute and 52 seconds left, Allen led one of the most perfect touchdown drives you'll ever see. In under 90 seconds, Josh Allen drove Buffalo back down the field, going 5 for 5 for 55 yards through the air, with another 20 yards coming on 2 scrambles. The drive ended with Allen leaning on his back foot, throwing a seemingly effortless touchdown to an open Gabe Davis at the goal line, tying the score at 14-all. The Chiefs started the second half hot, but a holding penalty in the red zone eventually caused their opening drive to stall out, resulting in a Harrison Butker field goal that barely squeezed through the uprights. A quick Bills 3-and-out let Mahomes get the ball right back, and this time they took full advantage, racing down the field for another touchdown. When everything seemed to be going Kansas City's way, a botched extra point attempt from Butker gave Bills fans a sliver of hope, but the Chiefs still led 23-14. Just like when the Bills had faced a crossroads earlier in the season, when they sat at 7-6, they faced one now. These types of situations are where bad teams crumble and great teams find a way. Andy Reid and the Chiefs have more playoff experience than just about anyone, and when they find a 2-score lead in the second half, they almost never let it go. The problem for KC is Josh Allen isn't your average quarterback, and he wasn't going to go down without a fight. On the very next play, down 9 points, Allen dialed up the launch codes, throwing an absolute beauty almost 60 yards in the air that landed right in the outstretched arms of Gabe Davis, who took it all the way for a 75-yard touchdown. The Bills were officially back. That play was the shot in the arm that they so desperately needed, and now they found themselves only down 2 with over 16 minutes left to play. Another series of punts followed before Tyreek Hill returned a Bills punt from deep in their own red zone all the way back to the 16-yard line, setting up the Chiefs in prime position to take another 2-score lead. But this time, the Bills' defense came up huge, stuffing the Chiefs on 3 straight plays to force another Butker field goal, keeping the game in the balance at 26-21. This is where the game truly turned on its head. It had already been a great performance from both teams, but the ensuing possessions are what truly made this a legacy game that would intertwine Mahomes and Allen for the rest of their careers. The Bills hadn't had a long drive since their 13-play opener, but when they needed it most, Allen absolutely delivered. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills converted 3rd and 3 at their own 32, 3rd and 4 at their own 43, 3rd and 1 at the KC 39, and 4th and 4 at the KC 30, just to somehow keep the drive alive. But still, they simply could not break into the red zone and faced 4th and 13 at the Kansas City 27 with 1 minute and 54 seconds remaining. With the game on the line, the Chiefs made a rare game-changing mistake, leaving Gabe Davis wide open in the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the game. The 2-point conversion that followed was almost even more impressive. After facing immediate pressure up the middle, Allen ran backwards past the 20-yard line before angling back towards the line of scrimmage and throwing a cross-body dart to Stephon Diggs in the back of the end zone. The Bills now led for the first time since the opening drive of the game, 29-26. Mahomes had under 2 minutes to pull out whatever magic he had left and win this game, but he didn't even need it. After a few quick completions, Patrick Mahomes hit Tyreek Hill in stride on a slant route, who used his breakaway speed to get to the edge and outrun the entirety of the Bills' defense, snatching back the lead with just 1 minute and 2 seconds left. It was officially desperation time for Buffalo. Every time Allen led a touchdown drive, the Chiefs immediately answered, but now he had 55 seconds on the clock and a chance to get the last word. Right on cue, Allen sliced up the Chiefs' secondary, completing pass after pass to Davis, but Buffalo just had no time. They were 56 yards downfield from where they started, and they still needed 19 yards with as many seconds remaining. But then, just like it had all game, the Allen and Davis connection came through once more. Allen dropped back in the pocket before threading the needle between 2 Chiefs defenders, placing the ball right on Davis's hip and taking the lead back for what would surely be the final time. This was the legacy game of all legacy games. Time and time again, Allen had to make a play, and he did. When the biggest moments came, there was truly no one on planet Earth who could stop him from getting his way. I wish I could tell you that was it, that the Bills went on to advance to the AFC Championship and Josh Allen got his legacy game in the history books, best, throwing for 330 yards and 4 touchdowns. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you already know, there's another reason why this game went down as the greatest playoff game of all time. In just 13 seconds, the Kansas City Chiefs somehow got into field goal range and tied the game at 36 apiece. While Arrowhead erupted, Bills fans everywhere were stunned, and everyone in the entire world knew that whoever won that coin toss would go on to win the game. As fate would have it, Mahomes and the Chiefs won the toss, and without hesitation drove down for the walk-off touchdown. It's hard to imagine a more crushing defeat than what Josh Allen felt that day, especially because of how well he played. Despite the loss, Allen has never been looked at the same by the media. Before, he was seen as turnover-prone and still had some major doubters, despite all the success he had in the previous season. But from that day onward, Allen was never doubted again. The Bills still haven't cashed in with a championship during Allen's tenure, but everyone knows that with the right pieces around him, Allen has the potential to be a Super Bowl champion. Who knows? Maybe this is the year. Despite losing Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Jordan Poyer in the offseason, among others, Buffalo has gotten off to a great start. No one can say yet whether or not Allen will ever get his ring, but regardless, he will be remembered in history for decades to come for orchestrating the greatest football game of all time, the day that he truly became a superstar.